How to fix League of Legends, VAN 185 and VAN 2266 errors. Welcome back to Teknobalta. During our recent diagnostic sessions, our technical team encountered the frustrating League of Legends VAN 185 and VAN 2266 errors that have been consistently kicking players out of their matches. Teknobalta's analysis revealed that these Riot Vanguard anti-cheat issues stem from a complex combination of synchronization faults, network blockages, and deep system security misconfigurations. We have thoroughly tested, analyzed, and confirmed every potential fix for this critical issue in our testing environments. Today, we will guide you through the ultimate, comprehensive process to eliminate these errors permanently and get you back onto the Rift. Solution 1. Synchronize Windows time and date. Our testing showed that Vanguard relies heavily on precise system timestamps to verify encrypted connections with Riot servers. If your system time is even slightly out of sync, Vanguard immediately triggers a VAN error to prevent potential tampering. Navigate to your Windows time and language settings and force a manual synchronization with the global time server to restore accurate timestamps. Solution 2. Replace the motherboard CMOS battery. During our investigation, we discovered that hardware-level time resets often cause persistent VAN errors, despite applying numerous software fixes. If your computer constantly loses its time and date settings after a full shutdown, your motherboard CMOS battery is completely depleted. Replacing this inexpensive watch battery on your motherboard will maintain the correct BIOS time and satisfy Vanguard's strict security checks. Solution 3. Restart the Vanguard service. Sometimes the core Vanguard service, officially known as VGC, simply crashes or hangs in the background during gameplay. Press the Windows key, type services, and locate the VGC process within the alphabetical list. Right-click the service, select Restart, and allow the system a few moments to properly reinitialize the anti-cheat kernel driver. Solution 4. Set Vanguard to automatic startup. Teknobalta's diagnostics revealed that delayed background service starts can trigger the VAN 2266 error before the game client even fully loads. In the Windows Services menu, right-click the VGC entry and open its Properties window. Change the startup type to Automatic, ensuring that Vanguard boots precisely when Windows starts without any delay. Solution 5. Flush DNS and reset network sockets. Network routing corruption is a highly frequent culprit for the VAN 185 connection drop during active matches. Open the command prompt as an administrator and execute the ipconfig flushdns command, immediately followed by the netsh winsock reset command. Restart your computer to rebuild a completely clean network pathway to the Riot game servers. Solution 6. Switch to a reliable public DNS. We tested various network configurations and found that standard default ISP domain name servers often throttle or misdirect Vanguard authentication traffic. Access your network adapter settings and manually assign your IP4 DNS to Google or Cloudflare public addresses. This modification guarantees a stable, unhindered route for the continuous anti-cheat verification process. Solution 7. Enable TPM2.0 in the BIOS. Modern versions of Riot Vanguard strictly enforce hardware-level security, and a disabled Trusted Platform module will instantly result in authentication failures. Restart your computer into the BIOS environment and navigate to the Security tab to enable Intel PTT or AMD FTPM depending on your processor. Save the configuration and exit to ensure your hardware meets Riot's mandatory security standards. Solution 8. Activate Secure Boot. Alongside the strict TPM requirement, our technical team confirmed that Secure Boot must be actively running for Vanguard to authenticate your system successfully. While still in your BIOS menu, Locate the boot options and toggle the secure boot parameter from custom or disabled to standard and enabled. This process prevents unauthorized third-party drivers from loading and satisfies the anti-cheat engine. Solution 9. Configure Windows Defender Firewall allowances. Overly strict firewall rules can accidentally quarantine Vanguard's background network traffic, triggering immediate disconnects and error codes. Navigate to the Windows Defender Firewall menu and select the option to allow an app through the firewall. Ensure that both the League of Legends client and the VGC executable are fully checked for both private and public network access. Solution 10. Temporarily disable third-party antivirus software. During our extensive lab tests, aggressive third-party security suites frequently intercepted Vanguard's deep memory scanning operations. If you run external antivirus software, disable its real-time protection shields temporarily before attempting to launch the game. If the errors disappear, you will need to add the entire Riot Games directory to your antivirus software exclusion list. Solution 11. Update the Windows operating system. Outdated Windows builds often lack the critical security certificates and dependencies required by the latest Vanguard patch. Open your Windows Update settings and manually check for new downloads, installing all pending cumulative and security updates. Keeping your operating system entirely current resolves hidden compatibility conflicts with deep-level anti-cheat drivers. Solution 12. Run the client with administrator privileges. Insufficient user permissions frequently prevent the standard game client from properly communicating with the kernel-level Vanguard driver. Right-click the League of Legends desktop shortcut, access its properties, and navigate to the Compatibility tab. Check the box to run the program as an administrator to grant the application full read and write access to your system components. Solution 13. Perform a complete Vanguard reinstallation. When the anti-cheat installation becomes heavily corrupted, simply patching the game is rarely enough to fix the VAN 185 error. Open your Windows settings, navigate to Installed Apps, and completely uninstall Riot Vanguard from your machine. Restart your computer, launch the Riot Client natively, and allow the software to download a fresh, uncorrupted version of the anti-cheat. Solution 14. Execute a Windows clean boot. Teknobalta independently verified that obscure background applications like RGB controllers or hardware performance monitors can easily conflict with Vanguard. Open the System Configuration tool, hide all essential Microsoft services, and disable the remaining third-party startup items. Rebooting into this pristine, clean environment helps isolate exactly which background software is clashing with League of Legends. Solution 15. Disable IP6 in network adapters. Riot's server infrastructure primarily operates on the older IP4 protocol, and active IP6 connections can cause packet routing confusion during verification. Go to your network connections, right-click your active adapter, and open the Properties menu. Uncheck the Internet Protocol version 6 box to force all game traffic smoothly through the more stable IP4 standard. Solution 16. Update network interface drivers. An outdated or generic network card driver can randomly drop the persistent connection that Vanguard heavily demands, resulting in an abrupt error screen. Open the Device Manager, expand the Network Adapters category, and right-click your primary controller to check for updates. Installing the absolute latest manufacturer drivers ensures maximum network stability under heavy competitive load. Solution 17. Clear the Riot Client cache data. Corrupted temporary files within the launcher can feed entirely incorrect login tokens to the Vanguard background service. Press the Windows key combined with R, type local app data, and locate the Riot Games folder to permanently delete its cache contents. The client will rebuild these necessary files cleanly upon your next login, eliminating any stale authentication data. Solution 18. Utilize the built-in game repair tool. Rather than uninstalling the entire massive game directory, our testing showed the internal repair function is highly effective for restoring missing library files. Open the Riot Client, click on your profile icon to access settings, and select League of Legends to find the repair button. The client will automatically scan and replace any damaged assets that might be triggering the disconnects. Solution 19. Disable virtual private networks and proxies. Vanguard actively flags and blocks heavily encrypted tunneling software to prevent regional exploits and cheating tools from operating. Ensure that all VPN applications and proxy network configurations are completely disabled before attempting to launch the game client. A direct, unfiltered connection to your internet service provider is absolutely required for stable authentication. Solution 20. Reinstall the game on the primary system drive. In rare hardware instances, installing League of Legends on a secondary or external drive creates severe latency issues with the anti-cheat driver located on the main operating system drive. If all else fails, uninstall the game completely and reinstall it directly to the root of your primary system drive. This ensures the fastest possible communication speeds between the game client, Windows, and Vanguard. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.